So, the saddening news from this morning, well, at least my morning, was that Jorge Masvidal has pulled out of his fight next month. Oh, that's pretty close. Against Leon Edwards. And, I mean, off the bat, very disappointing. That was a fight that I definitely wanted to see. It was, it, yeah, it would have been very fun to watch that fight happen, but guess we'll have to wait a bit longer because I'm very, very confident that unless a freak injury happens and it costs one of them their career, they're fighting. That Leon Edwards and Masvidal are going to fight someday. So, although it seems like Leon Edwards is just going to fight someone different then, it's just going to postpone this fight. This fight's going to happen later, so although we can all be very sad that it's not happening next month, I think I'm still looking forward to the fight down the line basically. But I think in a weird way, in my head, this frees up the division and gives a lot of, gives a clear vision of, and direction where the welterweight division is going to go. I think Leon Edwards, I mean, he should take a short notice fight, he should, I don't know how to phrase it, because it's well within his right to say, no, look, I was training for him, I don't want a short notice opponent now, but he should take a short notice fight against a top contender in a number one contender fight, and the winner of that will face Kamaru next. That will be very clear for it, because for Usman right now, there's lots of different directions he could go. He could, I think before this, it was hope that Leon Edwards wins, because then that will obviously decide the next fight. Or he could, I don't know how, but people are saying he could go fight Chimaev next. He could fight Vicente Luque. There was a lot of variables in different directions he could have gone. Nate Diaz was even one. Fucking Canelo, moving up against Adesanya. I don't know. But I think now it sets things a lot clearer. I'd prefer the most that Leon Edwards fights Gilbert Burns or Luque. I'm not sure about Luque right now because he just failed a weight cut for a backup fighter, so it's confusing if he could physically be in that condition just coming off a weight cut going back into a next fight. So I'd prefer Luque the most, but if not Gilbert Burns, because Gilbert Burns is still a top contender, and at the end of the day, I think he's been the closest to finishing Kamaru when he landed that overhand straight away. He beat Kamaru in the Apex. I think probably the second toughest fight of his career, but there's plenty in that to hype up a new fight against him, given that Gilbert Burns would beat Leon Edwards, but that's a big if. So I think it's set to really clear Leon Edwards. Realistically, if he goes, nah, I don't want this, he could go and fight for the title now. He probably could, but if he sits out, I feel like they'd want to schedule Masvidal next. So he should, if he takes a short notice fight against a top contender, then it's clear whoever wins that will fight Kamaru next. On the other hand, for Masvidal, he can go against one arch rival straight into another one. If Leon Edwards doesn't wait for him to recover from his injury, fight Colby. Fight Colby then. I mean, Colby blessed you by dropping that at the post-fight, setting you guys up next. And I mean, who's gonna say no to that fight? If I'm being honest, the only person who could say no to that fight is Masvidal, because guess what? That fight happens, 0% chance that Masvidal would win that. Colby would obliterate him. But it's a hype fight that everyone would pay to watch. You've got Masvidal, who I'm not sure if he's still as like a star. He's still very popular, and you're against someone like Colby, who's very popular as well. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So I think this fight, in the long run, it feels like it could be a blessing in disguise, because Masvidal and Edwards is going to fight someday along the line. So you don't have to worry about that. It gets a clear direction for Edwards, because he's been one good fight away from the title for about 3 years. Then, like, when he had Chimaev booked, if he won that, he would have fought for the title, and Chimaev was unranked at the time. If he put on a very impressive performance against Bilal Muhammad in the short notice fight because of Chimaev's difficulties, then he would have had a title. If he fought a credible opponent and not fucking Nate Diaz, or if he'd beat Nate Diaz in a definitive fashion. Actually, no, definitive is like without question, because there was still, because he clearly won that fight, and there was just like, oh, he nearly got knocked out though, which, well, he did, but doesn't change the 24 minutes, of domination before that. I've gone on a tangent now. But yeah, blessing in disguise. This has happened. I think if politics don't stand in the way, or Masvidal isn't too scared to fight Colby, because stylistically, worst possible matchup.